Oh, are we on the air?
Hey gang, it's Bryan from FXBilliards. Today I'm going to talk to you about 5 shots that you should practice, but I bet you don't. Let's get started. First one, I know you hate it. Ball's on the rail. You have to shoot a ball, whether it's all the way up table or just across table. I know you don't like this shot. My question to you is, how much time do you spend working on this shot? Before we get into that, most of the problem shots, the shots that guys tell me all the time, oh, Bryan, how do I play this and how do I handle that? Most of these are avoidable. You have to think to yourself, what's going to happen when I come off the rail? Or maybe I'm moving too close to the rail. And one very simple secret will help you guys keep the balls from being frozen on the rail. And that is, when you shoot a shot for position, think to yourself that you're going to come off the rail. If you're trying to get from the 13 to the 11, don't think to yourself, I want to stop here. Don't even think to yourself, I want to stop there. Think to yourself, I'm going to come off the rail to get position on this ball. That's what all top players do. You have so much control when you come off the rail, and if you're conscious of it, then you avoid freezing the ball to the rail. So if I'm playing the 13 to get on the 11, I'm not just drawing back to stop the ball here, I'm drawing back to bounce off the rail to get my position on this shot. So that's the first thing. Avoid ending up on the rail. Now sometimes it's a good thing to be on the rail. You may be on the rail this way and you're shooting that way, and this is not that bad, especially if it's going to be a shot to the inside, so you're like this and you can hit a lot more of the cue ball. But even that's not recommended. So, how do you play this shot when the ball is on the rail? I'm going to give you some tips. Full disclosure, Ava Mataya is where I got this idea, and I have been using it probably for the last 10 years or so. First thing I do is I let the cue slide on the actual rail when I'm making my bridge. You want to make your bridge as far back as you can. If you can get back here, so you're using more space rather than being all the way up here, that will help as well. Now I have large hands. I can get a lot further from the rail than a lot of you, and I can do some funky things with manipulating my bridge. But make your bridge as long as you can and make it stable. Let the cue slide on the rail. You're hitting more of this ball than you think you are, okay? Because remember, the bottom of your tip is the only thing that's touching that ball. Also, and this is the trick, this is the secret. You guys want to know the secret all the time. Here's where I hold the cue normally. Here's where I hold the cue for rail shots. So I'm changing the balance of the cue. It's a lot different here. So now, in this situation, I'm actually making a closed bridge because of the distance of the shot. I'm all choked up, and I have a lot more accuracy when it comes to shooting that shot. So put those things in mind. Longer bridge if you can. If this is going to help you better as far as making the shot more true, make yourself a closed bridge, but be conscious of what you're doing. Don't figure it out, you know, all of a sudden when you have to shoot it. You have to practice these things. Choke up on the cue. I am literally a foot, more than a foot closer with my grip, but I'm still beyond the balance point on this cue. If there is a shorty cue around, if there's a short cue, you can even use that instead of your playing cue, even when there's not a wall behind you. Nobody said there has to be a wall behind you for you to use the short cue. So keep those things in mind, and let's look at another shot. Just this morning, somebody hit me in the comments and asked me about this shot, which kind of was the genesis to this video. So what we're doing here is we have to shoot over the 11 ball. I can't teach large hands, okay? I have very good dexterity, even with my left hand, and my fingers are very long. So I can get up over these balls, but I'm going to give you guys as many tips as I can about making this shot. First thing, once again, I'm actually choked up on the cue a little bit. I'm changing the balance of the cue. I'm getting my bridge as close as I can to that ball without the cue actually touching the ball. I'm spreading my fingers as wide as possible. So this is important because those of you that put your fingers together like this and try to make the bridge is unstable. So if you can spread your fingers out, get as close to the ball as you can without disturbing that object ball, choke up just a little bit, not as much as with the rail shot, and try as much as you can not to shoot down on the cue ball. If you're shooting down on the cue ball, that is going to cause the cue ball to curve or put English on the object ball. And you do not want to transfer English or throw or any type to that ball. You're already in a bad enough situation. So checklist, choke up a little bit, not as much as the other shot. Get as close as you can. Spread your fingers out. Try to get your thumb up as high as you can on the shot. And don't shoot down on the ball. You got to practice these, guys. It's worth shooting 10 or 15 of these every time you practice. Let's look at another shot. Here's a shot you don't practice, and I bet you don't like. See, that Bryan Mitchell's telling me what I do. I know what you're doing because I've done it. Because my students do it. I know you're not practicing these shots, guys. Here's one. We are playing a back cut. You have got to get these in your practice session. The cue ball, from a parallel standpoint, is closer to the pocket than the object ball. If you're a straight pool player, you have got to have this shot so that you can get into the rack. So, if you're doing a break or a re-break, or in the case of 9-ball or any other game, you got to make the shot. So, we are on this side of the 5-ball. We need to play it in that corner pocket. The shot looks like this. Now, those of you who were paying attention, close attention, realize that I put outside English on that shot. We have what's called cut-induced throw. What is that? It means if the ball is here and my ghost ball is there, if I hit this spot perfectly from there, what I'm doing is throwing the object ball this way, just from friction, and ending up missing the pocket because of that. So that shot had outside English on it. If you don't have a low deflection cue, you can throw in one of the gimmicks, backhand, front hand, whatever you want. But the shot becomes more difficult. In the meantime, the thing that's going to make the shot easier, it's not going to be about math and percentages and backhand, front hand, or any of that. It's going to be about practice. Put in your reps. You're either going to have to overcut this shot or put outside on it. I can tell you that almost every time I have this shot, with the exception of some straight pool breaks, I am putting outside English on this shot. So you try to avoid the shot unless you need it to get into the rack, but otherwise you need to put in some reps on this shot. Don't start back here. Start here, work your way back until you get good at it. Over distance, if you shoot 20 of them, just 20 of them every practice session, that is 20 more than your competition is practicing. So that's all you need to do. Let's look at a different shot. Here's a shot you don't practice enough. Shooting with the bridge. I know you don't because a lot of you won't even walk over and pick it up. Almost every one of you that owns a pool table has a bridge of some type. And I have given lessons to guys that run marathons. Guys who are in the gym 2 hours a day, and they rather miss a shot than to walk right there and pick up their bridge and come over here and use it. So I know you're not practicing with it if you won't even use it. So let's talk about the bridge. We're not going to spend a lot of time on this, and I am guilty as anyone of not using the bridge. One of the reasons is I'm 6'1", 6'2", something like that, and I can reach a lot more shots than some people. I play with an extension on my cue so I can reach more shots than some people. I will play left-handed so I can reach more shots with some people. As a result, my bridge work suffers. So I need to practice with the bridge. You need to practice with the bridge because sometimes it is the best thing to do. So left hand aside, shooting with your offhand, shooting with an extension, all of those things aside, let's take a look at the bridge. Now, first thing that I recommend, if you can put the bridge down on the table in any way so that you're not holding it up, where you're holding two different apparatuses at the same time, that's one thing you want to do. Get the bridge on the table and get your hand on the bridge. Next thing you want to do is don't shoot it this way. This is how you want to shoot it. I used to do that myself. I mean, as recent as a couple years ago. You want to get your hand like this, so you're shooting it almost like a dart. Get down on it, keep your elbow up, and follow through the same way you would on any shot, and you will have much better success using the bridge. Just doing those things. But number one, try to get this out of your hand if you can. If you can put your hand on it just so it doesn't wiggle around, that's much better than having to hold it up. The other thing, get your elbow high, use a dart, and follow through like you would with any other shot. The best way to get good with the bridge, if you're a shorter person or you play on 9-foot tables like this or whatever, some of you might even be playing on 10-foot tables. The best way to get good with the bridge is to put in reps. Shoot entire racks, no matter where the ball is, shoot an entire rack using the bridge. That's a good way to practice, and I know a lot of pros whose coaches have made them do that. Just shoot racks holding the bridge on each and every shot. So that's something else that you need to practice. Do you like to break? I like to break. Are you practicing your lag? Are you practicing your lag on the table that you're going to be playing on? What you want to do, practice your lag. Just shoot 4 or 5 of them. Whether you're at home or preferably on the table you're going to be playing, shoot a few of them so that you can win the lag, and that way you can break, or at least break first. So what are you going to do? Here's Bryan's lag secrets. I'll give you most of the secrets, not all of them. If you can, lag with your break cue. Don't ask me why, but the harder tip gives you better control over what's going to happen to the speed. Number 2, don't try to get close to the rail. Try to touch the rail. Your goal is not to come close, but to touch it. Sometimes you're going to fall short. Sometimes you're going to fall really short, but most of the time you're going to touch it and bounce off just a little bit. That's what you're trying to do. If you can, try to lag with an object ball, not a cue ball. Why? Because for some magical reason, if you hit this stripe, notice the way I put it on the table, if you hit this stripe right at that point where the stripe changes to the white part of the ball, you have more control. Don't ask me why, guys. I don't have enough time to explain all these things to you. But at the minimum, it creates a baseline that you're going to be doing each and every time you lag, no matter where you are, what table you are, what temperature it is. You are always hitting it at the same spot, where if you use a cue ball, it's going to change. You're going to never hit it in the same spot twice. So if nothing else, it will help you find that spot where you want to hit it. Now, what's the most important part of winning the lag, other than you're going to use the hardest tip that you have in your bag, try to use an object ball, get up to the line, don't fall for 3, 2, 1, we're lagging. That's stupid. You don't have to lag when the other guy lags, okay? And if there's going to be any counting, you're going to do the counting. So he's lagging or she's lagging when you are lagging, when you want to lag. But if somebody counts down and they lag, let them go ahead and do it. There's no rule that says you have to do it when they do it, especially if somebody managed to count backwards from 3. All of a sudden they're in charge of the table. I don't think so. So the last thing, practice your lag. You're looking to go up and come back and touch this rail and put in some reps. 4, 5, 6, 10. If you're playing on the same kind of equipment you have at home, I'd put in a lot of them because I like to break. Don't you like to break? So, thanks for watching, guys. I hope these things helped you. There's a lot more shots that you probably should be practicing that we did not cover, but you get the point. You know what they are. So put in your reps on these shots that nobody else is putting in, and you will win more games. Now, quick note, don't put in a lot of reps on the shots you don't need. Cut out all the masse, the jump shots, the bank shots, and all of the stuff that you have not ever used in a game, and work on the things that you need to put in your game. When you have 8 hours a day to practice, then you can do all the wacky stuff and the trick shots and everything else. In the meantime, win the lag, use the bridge, be able to shoot over balls, and especially balls that are on the rail. Have a great day. Don't forget to subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and thanks for watching. I'll show you how to lag. See, this is a winning lag.